Christian parenting.
Hey Mama, I'm Pamela Hinkleman, certified empty nest coach, and you're listening to the Midlife Mama podcast. This show is for Christian moms navigating the empty nest, learning how to let go with grace, set healthy boundaries, reconnect in marriage, and step confidently into their God-given purpose. Each week, I'll coach you through this season with faith-filled encouragement, honest conversations, and practical tools that you can apply right away to your relationships and your life. If this episode encourages you, I'd be grateful if you leave a quick rating and review. It helps other moms find the support they need. You'll find the link in the show notes. And make sure you're following the podcast. And let's get started. We're at our final episode of our special fall series, Her Next Chapter, where we're exploring the beautiful, sometimes unexpected journey of midlife by covering topics I don't normally cover. Today, we're taking a slight departure from our usual conversation to talk about the power of fiction. My guest is author Cheryl Esper Balcom, whose new novel, Mother of the Year, tells the story of Lindy Thomas, a woman whose carefully ordered life is turned upside down after the unexpected death of her husband. And as she embarks on a cross-country road trip, she discovers the hardest journey isn't across the country. It's the one that leads her from striving to surrender. If you've ever felt responsible for holding your family together, struggling to let go of control, or wondering how God meets us in seasons we never would have chosen, I think you'll see pieces of your own story in Lindy's story. Let's dive into this conversation with Cheryl Esper Balcom. Welcome, Cheryl.
Hi, Pamela. Thanks for having me.
I just want to say, I so enjoyed your book. I read it in an afternoon. I was just like, I have got to find out what this note is. So, well, let's dive in about Lindy, your main character. She has spent her life believing it's her job to hold everyone together. And so why do you think many women, especially mothers, carry that burden? And what finally convinced you to explore that theme in the novel?
Yeah, I think that all of us, I think women in general, we kind of have this control gene, right? I think that comes from the curse of in the fall in the garden after Eve ate the forbidden fruit. The curse was for us that we would desire our husband, but his rule would be over us. And so we will struggle against that a lot in our lives. I think especially for moms, we have also been given this nurturing gene, right? This desire to care for our families and our children. And I think we take on this responsibility so seriously, right? And it's with all good intentions, with love and care and desire for good for those people that we love. So Lindy, of course, feels this way. She's already wired that way. And then we find out in the book that she has a backstory. She has her own kind of mother wound from her own mother. So she's trying to prove that she can do a better job than her own mother. So it's really heightened for her, this desire to just have this good life, this good, strong family and hold everything together.
Yes, I think you're spot on that with women our age, and maybe obviously we've been doing it the whole time. And that's why this season can be so hard when our kids leave and they're adults and we're like, how do we not still be responsible for these children? And so I love the storyline of the son who lives in London. And I think he just needs to get a job back in this. Isn't that just a mom to try to figure out how can I get that child back closer to me? I love that. Let's talk about when Lindy's husband dies. She's forced into a season she never would have chosen. So how do you think grief has a way of revealing both our deepest fears and the places where God still wants to heal us?
Yeah, grief kind of just peels away all the layers, doesn't it? It just makes us realize that we actually all have a sense of entitlement because we're always surprised by the things that happen that we kind of feel like this wasn't supposed to go this way, which means we had a way that we wanted it to go, right? It just reveals our weakness. It reveals our pride. I believe that grief and pain are lenses that God allows us to look through to see him more clearly. Does that make sense?
Oh, beautiful. Say that again. Say that again.
Grief and pain and suffering are lenses that God uses to allow us to see him more clearly, to see our weakness, but also to see his strength.
And so she is forced to do a lot of things that she doesn't want to do, right?
And her husband, so I tried to write it so that we could see that her husband, she has already had an empty nest for a few years, but her husband has made this a safe place and made that a comfortable space for her as she's adjusted. And now all of a sudden he's gone. He was always her safe place. And so now, like we all do at this stage of life, I have 4 grown kids. It's like, who am I now? And she's doubly perplexed because I'm a widow now. And my kids are in very various stages of life and phases of things that they're going through. And at one point in the story, she literally gets stuck in between them. She's in the middle of the country, and one child is on the West Coast, and one child is in Michigan and struggling with some things. And she's like, where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? Who am I in this moment? And so the road trip is a metaphor for her journey to releasing and surrendering and letting God be her safe place.
I love that. The book is titled Mother of the Year, and it is so adorable how through the whole book you give these little bit title for when this happens. Can you give us a few examples of those? Because I thought they were so clever.
Oh, the headlines, they're her mental headlines. And that is, I have to say, that's just a piece of my own life because I have this little voice that's summarizing everything I do, right? And so, yeah, Father of the Year is a tongue-in-cheek title because don't we all that's our goal, right? We want to be the yes, we want to be the best mom. We want to guarantee these outcomes, right? Certain outcomes. And so in her head, and of course, there is a tie to a headline from a newspaper from her past. And so that has started a habit that summarizes everything she's doing. And one of them is, so she doesn't fly, but her son is this musical prodigy who is in the London Symphony Orchestra. And everyone has flown to see him except her. And so that's one of the headlines. Oh, yeah, everyone has seen musical prodigy except his own mother. And sometimes these headlines are building her up and puffing her up, and sometimes they're just belittling her. But we all have that voice, don't we? That's like just judging everything we do every day.
Yeah, that inner critic, we could call it.
Exactly.
You did it just so cleverly, and I could relate to every one of them. I love that. So what do you hope women discover about their identity beyond being the good mom?
That is a good question. Again, going back to her relationship with her husband and how he was her safe place. He kind of gave her purpose once the kids were out of the house. He was still there for her to care for and be responsible for and share life with. And so that just got all flipped on its head after he passed away unexpectedly. So what she has to learn is that God is truly our safety net. God is the one who gives us purpose. It doesn't have to be in other people. He has work for us to do. People are always going to disappoint. We're going to disappoint ourselves. We may, again, have these desired outcomes that we want, but really it's about surrendering to his will for our life.
Yeah, that was the underlying theme, honestly. Lindy had so many ideas about how life should be. And isn't that just like moms? We just have these expectations of, but if it were like this, then I'd be a little more at peace if they did this. And ultimately, I think every mom must learn this lesson that it's not about what we want. God's will prevail. Our children are free to go and build their life, even if it is in London, if it's far away. We cannot stand in the way of that. And that the tension of releasing that, of even when she watches her daughter struggle with infertility, like, oh, so many moms can relate to that. It's so painful, right?
And
And
we have
moms
to let
can't
go of
change
our
it.
own. Yeah, we have to let go of our own. Like Lindy and her husband really wanted to be grandparents. And so that unknowingly, she was really pressuring her daughter. And then there were some whole other circumstances there that needed to come to light. And God just gently and beautifully restored that.
Yeah,
Just wanted
we
that.
won't
That
give that
message.
away here.
Just the message of God's grace. That's always what I'm trying to come back.
Yep. Yes, honestly, it was done so well.
Hey mama, if your house feels too quiet and your heart feels too heavy after launching your child, I've created a guide just for you. It's called Journaling Through Transitional Grief, a gentle, faith-filled resource to help you process the deep emotions of letting go. Inside, you'll find 6 reflection questions that will help you name your feelings, invite God into the grief, and experience His comfort in the middle of change. Remember, transitional grief is only a season, and God is leading you toward peace, purpose, and joy. You can grab your free copy at the link in the show notes. Now, let's get back to our conversation.
Lindy has to take this road trip. That's ridiculous because the son has flown from London to California and she gets to see him perform. So, because she's afraid to fly, she's going to drive across the country and she has all these realizations. So, throughout the road trip, Lindy slowly realizes that she can't control the people she loves. And that's a lesson. Why do you think letting go is so difficult? And what does healthy surrender actually look like? We talked about it a little bit.
I have a funny story to share, and this is from real life that influenced this book. And I just want to say for the record that the children in this story are not my children. They're not their stories, they're lives. But I have 4 adult children, as I mentioned, 31 down to 24. And our youngest daughter is not a believer. And a couple of years ago, I bought tickets for this program. It was a musical stage dramatic performance of Pilgrim's Progress. It is called Pilgrim. And I heard all these rave reviews. And so I was like, this is going to be fabulous. I'm getting tickets for the whole family. So I got tickets, and a couple days before the performance, my daughter looked at me and said, yeah, no, I'm not going to that. And I was like, what? I couldn't, she was 22 at the time. I couldn't strap her into the minivan and make her go, right? But I had all these schemes and plans that this was going to be what brought her to the Lord. I knew how to do this, right? So that lesson, Lindy struggles with that, as you referenced, trying to manipulate circumstances. So this journey that Lindy takes to see her son is all about the process of letting go. More and more things she realizes are out of her control, and that surrendering them to God. By the end of the story, she sees that His way is so much better, and it can be good, right? We think there's only one way to get to good and happy, but God's way is so much better. So that was the message I was trying to convey through that.
I think you did it
I'm
really
still
well.
learning.
Yeah, like all of us are. My kids are, I have 5 kids and they are 37 to 25. So yeah, just the other day I was thinking, I started letting my kids go in 2007. What? You've been practicing this a long time. It's just like layers upon layers of surrender and surrender. And when you finally get to that place, it just feels so good. It's like, they're yours, God. They're yours. They can make the choices that they want. And it's a beautiful thing. So one of the things I love about fiction is that it often reaches our hearts in ways that nonfiction can't. So I want to know, why did you choose to tell this message through a story instead of writing a traditional Christian living book?
That's so interesting. So I never thought I could write fiction. My kids, when they were young, I didn't think I was creative. My kids would ask for bedtime stories, and I'd be like, oh no, can't think of anything. So I'd come up with something silly and then always tack on a moral or a lesson at the end of the story, right? So the first thing I wrote was my memoir. When I started writing to be published, I wrote my memoir because they tell new writers, write what you know. And so I knew my own life. I didn't write it till I was over 50. So I'd had some life experiences that I had seen God work through and wrote all of that out. So part of that helped me realize that I can take real life situations and fictionalize that to tell the story. And I feel like sometimes nonfiction, for me, writing nonfiction, I feel like I'm pointing my finger and saying, here's what you should do, right? And I felt this way. I had a lot of fun with it, actually, because I took how God had taught me through letting go of my own children and then just fictionalized it all into Lindy and her story. And I feel like that readers can relate to that and not more relate to Lindy rather than feeling pointed at or pointed out or called out.
Oh, that's beautiful. Friend, you have got to get this book. It is phenomenal. I was like, okay, when's your next one coming out? I love it.
So sweet.
This is another important part of this story is that Cheryl discovered this gift when she was 5. Like, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. So it's not too late, friends. It is not too late to try something new. It is not too late to step in to something God is calling you to. I think that is fabulous. That might be the best part of the whole story.
So we all,
You had courage to do that.
yeah, we all have a story to tell. And if we are followers of Christ, he has done something in our lives, and we all have a story to tell for sure about him.
Yeah, I love that. So how did you land on the story itself? How did you land on that?
So I talk about this a little bit in the author's note at the end of the book. So I wrote my memoir several years ago, and that kind of centers around the loss of my dad, who died when he was 61. And so my mother was widowed at age 59. I, at the time, was a young mom with young children. After my dad died, my mom, who does not cry, went to visit my brother, who is an opera singer. He was living in Germany. He came to Seattle, so my mom took this road trip. So I was like, that would be a funny story. So I combined it with my own experience of where I am with adult children and letting go, and wove it all together to be this story. But the seed was planted from my mom's own experience. And so Lindy's grief, I watched my mom go through.
Yeah.
And then Lindy's adult children, I watched myself go through. So that kind of combined to make the story.
Oh, I just love that. I'm like, I know there's got to be a portion of Cheryl in here a little bit. There's got to be.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that you've really portrayed what we as empty nest moms experience. It's just done so beautifully. Everyone who reads it will relate, will see themselves in the pages without giving away the ending. If a woman is listening today, feels exhausted from trying to carry her family or manage every outcome and keep everyone happy, what do you hope she takes away from Lindy's journey?
So the verse Isaiah 49:16 is mentioned in this, referred to a couple times in the book. And it says, "Behold, I have engraved you on the palm of my hand." And one of the questions that Lindy finds herself asking is, who will know me in this season of life? Who knows me now? Because her husband is gone, her children are grown. And so the message I want the reader to take away is that you are known right where you are. You are loved. God knows you. He created you. He formed you in the womb. He knitted you together. He knows the number of your days. He knows your thought. You can't ever escape his presence. So you are never alone. You are loved and known, and you can trust him. So that's what I hope the reader will take away.
Yeah, I think they very much will. Every mom has to come to this revelation. Like, we all get to this point where we go, I did what I needed to do, and my job was to release them. Like, that's our job. That's our calling in this season. It's like open hands, open hearts, and just letting them go, trusting God with it all. And that wherever we're at, God sees us. He knows exactly what we need. He knows exactly what we're concerned about, but he's so faithful. And I think it's in the opening of our hands, like Lindy did, where she finally had peace. So many moms are like holding on so tightly, and that can destroy our relationships. So just this open-handedness is just a beautiful way to live. I want to know, Cheryl, do you have a plan for another fiction book or nonfiction? What are you thinking?
I'm not sure. I definitely have another nonfiction book in the works, and one of our daughters has some special needs. And so I've been working on, off and on through the past few years, on a devotional for parents of children with special needs. And so that will probably be the next thing that I publish. But I'm not ruling out another novel in the future. We'll see what God has.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask, can you tell my listeners where they can find you online and find your book?
Yes, I have both books. My memoir and this novel, Mother of the Year, are available on Amazon. And I have a website, CherylEsperBalcom.com, and you can find the books there. You can find more information. I write blog articles as well there. I even have a page of free resources to help you dig into the word a little bit on your own. And so that website is the place to find me.
All right. I will leave those links in the show notes. What a beautiful reminder that God often meets us not when everything is under control, but when we finally admit we can't carry it all anymore. Here's your coaching tip of the week. In each episode, I will give you one actionable step to improve your life. Remember, you can't change everything, but you can take one step to be better. Today, I just want you to think about one little thing that you've been holding on to too tightly. Take some time with Jesus and surrender it to Him. And take note of how that feels. I hope Cheryl's conversation encouraged you to loosen your grip just a little and trust the one who has been carrying you all along. Whether you're grieving a loss, navigating changing relationships with your adult children, or stepping into an unexpected midlife season, your next chapter doesn't have to be perfect to be filled with purpose. God is already there, writing a story of hope and redemption. Until next time, Mama, grace and peace. You've got this, and God's got you.
Thank you so much for spending time with me on the Midlife Mama podcast. My hope is that you leave each episode feeling encouraged, grounded, and clearer about what you're feeling, what God may be stirring in you, and how to move forward in the season of the empty nest. Through these conversations, I'm not just sharing stories, I'm coaching you, helping you name what's happening beneath the surface, challenging the thoughts that keep you stuck, and take intentional steps toward peace and confidence as a midlife mom. If you're ready to go deeper and want personalized coaching support, I invite you to apply for coaching. Coaching is a focused one-on-one space where we work together to gain clarity, process emotions, and discern what God is calling you to in this next chapter. You'll find the application linked in the show notes. And let's stay connected. You can find me on Instagram at @PHinkelman. That's PHENKELMAN, or on Facebook at Pamela Hinkelman, Empty Nest Coach. You don't have to figure out this season alone, Mama. Support and direction are possible, and I'm here when you're ready.